Did you know you can become whatever it is you want to become? Did you know you can have in your life whatever it is you want to have? And that's totally up to you. Quite a few years ago, a man named Earl Nightingale recorded published a recording called The Strangest Secret. And it's taken off the book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And Earl Nightingale said in The Strangest Secret, we become what we think about. If you think about that, that's a very powerful statement. If you think about that, you will find it true in your life. It's true in all of our lives. We become what we think about. The human mind is so much more powerful. It is so much more fertile and wonderful and mysterious and incredible than the field that a farmer plants seed in. But it works in the same way. Whatever you plant in your mind is what you will get. A farmer, when he plants, I grew up on a farm. When we planted a wheat seed, guess what we got? We got wheat. When we planted a corn seed, we got corn. When we planted a milo seed, we got milo. And you know what? There were weed seeds in the ground, and we always got weeds. The mind is the same way. It doesn't care what you plant in it. If you plant thoughts of success, if you plant thoughts of failure, that's probably what you're going to get. If you put in your mind a worthwhile goal, a concrete thought without confusion, then you're going to get what that thought is, what that goal is. But if you plant confusion, misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, depression, that's what you're going to get. What we plant, whether it's in the soil out there in my garden or the farmer plants, what we plant, or what you plant in your mind, what we plant must come back to us in that same fashion. So you need to be very, very careful what you plant. Now, I talked about Napoleon Hill. He wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. In that book, he says, what the mind of man can conceive and believe can be achieved. So think about it. Yeah, think about it. Think about what you think. This is the most powerful tool we all have. And we don't even use it to even a tenth of its potential. But the little bit that we do use can make us or break us. Think about what you think about. If you catch yourself being sad, if you catch yourself being depressed, if you catch yourself being unhappy, if you catch yourself thinking that you're sick, guess what? That's what you're going to get. So you need to change your thinking. It's like on a TV. Change the channel. Go to a different channel. You need to think about what you want to have happen instead of the thought that this is what's happening. You know, it's so funny. I know some people who are, I'll call them gullible, and pulled this really naughty trick on a couple of people in my history with some friends. People who are gullible into thinking that their mind was so powerful, we told them that they didn't look well. Are you sure you feel okay? Are you sick? And, you know, before the day was over, guess what? They were sick because their mind told them that they were sick. Now, they took the thoughts from everybody else, but they internalized it. And instead of saying, no, I'm not, they internalized it and they thought themselves into being sick. How many times do you think yourself into being sick? Okay, so if you see somebody who gets lucky, you know, it's something comes out of the blue and, you know, maybe some money falls in their lap or they get something that they didn't really expect. Lucky people tend to notice that this happens. And so what do? They act on it. They say, wow, how did that happen? What was I thinking? How did that occur? And let me do that again. And so they take action on this good fortune that happened and continue that. You have to believe that good things will happen. They weren't lucky. They believed that something good was going to happen to them, and it did. Because you know what? Expectations have a strange way of coming true. If you can think yourself into being sick, if you can think yourself into being poor, and I tell you what, if you think you're going to get fired on your job, guess what? You will probably get fired on your job. But if you believe good things are going to happen, guess what? It has a strange way of coming true because it's what you think. When bad things happen to you, don't dwell on the bad stuff. You need to look at the other side of the coin and say, well, what did I learn from that? Or how do I keep that from happening again? Don't dwell in the fact that it happened to you. Don't dwell on the fact that this bad thing happened. Look for the bright side, or look at it and say, how can I make sure it doesn't happen again, and move on. If you dwell in the bad times and you dwell in the hard stuff that's going on, you're just going to get more hard stuff. As I say, you can't beat a dead horse. Well, if the horse dies, get off of it. Go do something else. Find another path. If you're running a business and you just keep pouring money down a hole that just seems to never produce, get off of that one and go find a different one, because your mindset has set you on a path that says this isn't going to work, but I'm going to keep trying. Find a different path. Relationships. Relationships are fun. Relationships can be hard. Don't go look for a relationship in the wrong place. Because if you go looking for it in the wrong place, you're going to find a bad relationship and it won't last. In relationships with things, we all like to have a nice car, truck, house, stuff in our life. Stuff's okay, but understand that that's this delusion we put in our mind that we got to have stuff in our life, that's what's going to make us happy. And if I just get more, I'll be happy. And when that happens, I'll just be happy in my life. Well, it's not true. That's what you think. That is one of those bad thoughts. Happiness is a state of mind. It's not a state of having things. Happiness is a state of mind. And it's a state of mind where our thinking is happy all the time, where we're pleasant. You know those people who they're just always in a good mood, and they always laugh, and they always joke, and they're always in a good mood, and sometimes it ticks you off because they're always in a good mood. Well, guess what? They have decided up here they're going to be in a good mood, that they're going to be happy. And their mindset is happy. If you're sitting there in doom and gloom all the time and just frustrated that life isn't giving you what you want, it's because that's what you're telling yourself. That, I'm not worthy, I'll never have that, I'll never get that, I'll never be able to do that. If you say, I'll never, guess what? You'll never. Change that and say, how can I? That's the beginning. How can I? And your mind will start finding ways how you can. Failure is a choice that people who have undisciplined thinking make. If you're working on your goals and some objectives and you fail to meet your objectives, no matter what they are, it's a choice that you made. It's a choice that you made because something else was more important to you, something else was given a higher priority, and you chose to do that instead. It's why we procrastinate, because we don't want to do this. I'd rather do this, and so that doesn't get done. Something else is given a higher priority. It's not because you can't. It's not because you won't. It's not because it's hard. It's because you've just decided something else is more important. And then you wonder why you don't get what you want, because you don't put the importance on the right things. Sometimes we live in this doom and gloom in our life, and I know depression is real. I know depression is clinical, and I know depression can even be physiological, and I understand that, but I'm not talking about that kind of depression. Depression where we just sit there and we're like, oh, well, life has given me a bum rap these days. 2020. How many of you say life has given you a bum rap in 2020, and you're living in this state of depression? Well, it's a state of mind. You can catch yourself thinking that way. You have to create happiness in your life. You can create a depressing state of mind. You can create this doom and gloom in your life. You can create this, I'm going to veg on the couch this weekend because nothing seems to be going right in my life. You created that thought. And because you created that thought, it's going to happen. Or you can create a thought of happiness, of one of achievement, and go out and find something that you can do. You can put that in your mind and go accomplish it. So, how do you protect your mind? Very carefully. Choose what you listen to. If you listen to the news all the time, I would suggest you turn it off. They are only there to keep your attention, so you will listen to their advertisers so you can spend money. It's the only reason it's there. Be careful what you listen to. I would suggest you listen to podcasts about success and growth and pursuing what you want in your life and encouraging you to do better. Be careful what you read. If you're reading, I call them trash novels, you can call them whatever you want, that's not doing your life any favors. That's just, you are avoiding life and trying to live in this never, never land over here. Now, I have some great friends who have written some great books that are fiction books, and they're great writers. And the intent is not to just steal you away into a world that never exists. It's there for entertainment, and those books are there for entertainment. But be careful what you read. Be careful what you put in your mind. There's a lot of great writers out there who will give you knowledge through their books. You can read my book, The Success Grower, if you want, to learn how to set goals and how to achieve your goals. I have a dear friend, I actually see she's on over here. She wrote a book called, forgive me, Laura, if I don't get it right, it's the Unipreneur. Sometimes you find yourself all alone pursuing a business opportunity because you've got no one to support you. And how do you do that? You need to go read Laura Stewart Shortridge's book, The Unipreneur. It's a good book. Be careful what you read. Be careful what you put in your mind. And be careful about the people you associate with. Jim Rohn says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It infects your mind. If you spend a lot of time with people who are forward-looking, encouraging, excited about life, going out and achieving goals, you will too. But if you spend most of your time around people who are depressed, who are like, oh, this year 2020 is horrible, I can't wait for it to be over, let's just hide till it's over, you're not going to accomplish anything in your life. Be careful who you associate with. Protect your mind. It's the biggest, strongest tool that you have. Laura's book is called Unipreneur, How to Live Your Passion in a House Full of Dream Killers. If you have a desire in your life to achieve something, and you really want to do it, but you live with people who, they don't get it. They don't see it. They don't understand the dream that you have. They don't understand this desire. That doesn't mean you give into it and you just quit. Go get Laura's book. Learn how she did it and how she made it through and overcame. And now the people she lives with are some of her biggest supporters, which is cool. Protect your mind. We are what we think about. What the mind can conceive and believe can be achieved. Go out and make it a great day. I'm Mark Schinner from the porch. A little cool again today with your Thursday thoughts. Hope you have a great Thursday moving into the weekend. I will be back and talk to you tomorrow.